Hey everybody, it is Kate here. Happy Wednesday. And welcome back to the Brooks Legacy. We're with Generation 3, Xialla. I also just want to apologize for not having the usual spread of videos the last couple days. It has been an incredibly hectic, really the last week and a half. This last weekend was stupid busy, and I didn't really have time to prepare like I normally get to have. And I've got a lot of family drama going on right now, so if I seem a little low on the energy, that would be why. Yay! But I'm gonna be trying to make videos because but I won't be like pushing myself. Tiger was very adamant to make that distinction. I want to make videos. If I feel like I can't, then I won't. Like yesterday, I had the time, but I did not do it. Instead, I played Luna Island and cried and chilled, and that's exactly what I did. But today I feel better, and I want to make videos because I do enjoy making them, and it's like something that kind of fills my cup. So if it's to the point where it won't fill my cup, I won't do it. I promise you guys that. But that being said, I still want to get the videos out, so the next couple days is going to be like extra videos, double videos and stuff, just because screw it, I'm getting them out. Hence why this video is today instead of yesterday. And yeah, so that being said, let's get into it and see how Xialla's summer is going on.
Also, sorry for the horrible quality of the audio for the first 3 minutes because I just realized that it was picking up audio from my webcam instead of my headset, but I didn't script any of that, so it's going to stay in. Anyways, it won't be the rest of the video though. Sorry! Xilla's summer is going much better than she had expected. Summer school isn't as bad as she thought it would be, but the coursework stinked. She had a big paper due soon on the history of Strangerville, and who else was better to use as a source than former investigative journalist Aunt Hope? Plus, Xialla got to go somewhere else besides Strangerville, and with her dad's permission. So, even though it was for school, at least she could say she visited somewhere else for the summer, right? So, how have you been at... Oh, 1 minute. I have to tell Dad I made a... Xialla rolled her eyes at her beeping phone as Aunt Hope awkwardly laughed. Once the text to her dad had been sent, the two engaged in pleasantries. I've been okay, sweetie. How's summer school? Xialla briefly considered telling her aunt the truth. Or belly aching. Instead, she opted for somewhere in the middle. It's okay. It's not what I wanted to do, but it's not horrible. I've made some friends. That's great, though. Her aunt was quick to be excited, and Xialla had to fight the scowl that wanted to grow on her face. Yup, it is. Zai changed the subject quickly. Thanks for making the time for me with this project. I really appreciate it. And she really did, because her aunt was going to make this so much easier. Of course, hon. It's no trouble at all. Give me all the details. Right. So my paper is on the history of Stragerville. Like the lab being shut down 22 years ago? All that mysterious plant life disappearing, the big storm. You were there during all of that, right? Her aunt's face fell ever so slightly, much to Xialla's curiosity and concern. I sure was, but I am not sure how much help I can be. And your dad was also there during that time. Did you ask him about this? Xialla lied. I did, but he wasn't helpful. He didn't really remember. He doesn't see stuff like you do, Auntie. I've read your work. You were very observant. Oh, well, yes, I suppose I am. Hope's tone shifted, as did something in Zai's head. Xialla, sweetie, is something wrong? Her aunt worried as Zai rubbed her face vigorously, a familiar nauseating pain striking out of nowhere once more. Yeah, just give me a moment. Sorry, I have a bit of a headache. But it was more than that, and Zai knew it. She knew when her aunt began to speak, but then did a squeak that it was happening again. Do you need some medicine? Oh! Hope's eyes swirled as something happened that she was not aware of, and Zai momentarily went somewhere else. Memories unbidden burst forth in Zai's mind. She was taken back to a time when there was a younger Hope and Erwin, walking into a lab with paperwork strewn about everywhere, but not a single other person in sight. Then Zai was peeking over a younger Hope's shoulder as she peered into a dark purple mist, ominous whispers and glowing particle effects looming within. As Zai understood it, she was witnessing Hope's memories, and her aunt did indeed remember the storm all too well. There was Hope and Erwin. Her aunt and uncle, they studied the strange plants intently over a long period of time, and the plants were so much bigger than the pods dotted around Strangerville now. Then Hope was at some bar that Xialla had never been to, and there were aliens. Her aunt saw them where nobody else did. Hope wasn't just there when this was all going down. She seemed to be some catalyst of the events that followed or transpired. Then some vines were coming out of the toilet. Why did that wallpaper look familiar? And those vines, those look like the ones in Xilla's basement room. Whoa. Her aunt was in the lab. She was working on something. Oh my gosh, she was working on a cure. And she was pregnant. That had to be Marin, right? Xialla could barely understand what was happening, but Hope had clearly been keeping some big secrets. Why was her aunt in a hazmat suit in a hallway filled with the exact vines that were in Xilla's room? When Xialla saw the plant and her aunt right there, she was terrified, but at the same time, entranced. The plant frightened her aunt, but Zai both felt fear and familiarity. Like, she doesn't know how to describe the feeling. Her aunt was no longer pregnant, but the world around her seemed to be collapsing. Xialla had never seen Strangerville like this. She's lived there her whole life, learned about it throughout school. There's not a single picture on the internet or in any textbooks. What is happening? Death. The plant. The mother. Xialla. She felt like it was a mother. And Hope killed her. Past Hope felt exuberant. Present Xialla felt grief. And it was ridiculous. It didn't make sense. None of this made sense. Not a single bit of it. Not what was in Hope's memories, and not what Xialla was unfortunately continuing to experience. None of it makes sense. Xialla came to before her aunt did, the pain in her temples going away just as quickly as it had arrived. She was shaking and confused, but knew she only had moments before Hope would come to, sprawled out on the cushions beside her. Xialla quickly mussed up some of the papers and books Hope had prepared for her arrival, jotted down some random page numbers, keywords, and took some pictures of some pages to make it look like they had been working on the paper and the research. She and Hope had only been out of it for about 2 minutes, but Xi knew Hope would feel like it had been much longer than that after Xialla left. Why? Why does this keep happening? Xialla mumbled, freezing when she heard her aunt. Xi, dear, what happened? Aunt Hope, thank goodness. The relief was palpable in Xi's voice. Are you okay? Yes, I think so. Hope managed to sit back up, rubbing her eyes in confusion. What happened, though? Did I pass out? Xi nodded, going with Hope's phrasing. Yeah, I think so. We were working on my assignment, but you didn't feel good, then you just knocked out. I think you have a cold. Maybe I can make you some tea and you can turn in early? I have to be getting home anyway. Oh, yeah. All right. I don't really feel good, come to mention it. I am so sorry. No, don't be. You were really helpful. If it's all right, I could just borrow some of these books. Xialla rambled as she helped Hope stand. Yes, of course, sweetie. Borrow whatever you want. Hope weakly pumped her fist in the air. I'm just glad I was able to help. It wasn't until Xialla got home that she took a breath and released the tension she didn't know she was holding in. She was still shaking. She didn't have long to decompress. Sage was going to be coming over real soon, but that was the 5th time that had happened in recent months. The 5th time she had entered someone's head. The 5th time someone had passed out and there had been an intense pain in her mind. What was happening? And how did Xialla stop it? And that is that. So that is going to be the end of the video today. For Xialla at least. I'm hoping to get one more of the books up for this afternoon. Might have to throw it on another day. I don't know, but I'm at least going to get 2 this week. Yeah. That's a bombshell. I guess it just depends on what Xialla is going to do with it. I mean, she can't really use it for the paper, right? Like, there's no credible citation evidence, right? But if it's a speculative paper, she might be able to do something. So the question is she going to try, or is she just gonna let this go? Will she keep the secret, or will she not? Will she mention it to her aunt, or will she not? And if y'all were her, what would y'all do? Yeah. But anyways, yeah, this was fun. I actually forgot that this was the one that was coming up, so this was fun to go back down memory lane and do a sneak peek of a portion of Hope's story that I have not shared yet, because in Universe, the NDA is still up, but it won't be up for much longer. We got about another season or 2. So, yeah. Anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and thanks for being patient and also watching and listening. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, where the water's slow, legacies grow. Bye, y'all.